What is up, YouTube? Episode 3 of the Sensible Show, and again, today gonna be nice and simple. Today we're doing a build, and we are building. I'll come and show you. Nope, it's not a Specialized. It is a track bike. This is my Cinelli Vigorelli, and like I said, I just moved back to New Jersey, so I packed these all up before I left. I need to put it together, and I want to make some changes. So I think the way I'm going to do this video is I'll do like a time lapse of me just working on it, and then if something interesting happens or when it comes to me putting new parts on, I'll kind of pause it and talk you through it. Okay. Let's do it. Alrighty, so bike out of the box, taking the foam off. When I took the fork off, the lower bearing was just really dirty and gritty, so I wiped that down, put some new grease, and put it back in. Other than that, real simple, not much to adjust or take on and off when packing up a track bike, so went really quick. All right, so I want to take a second in the assembly process. As you can see, there really isn't too much to do. I mean, it's a track bike, one, and then two, I really didn't have to disassemble it to get it into the box and down here or up here. But I want to show you something real fast. So in terms of the headset, when I cut my steer tubes, I leave as much steer tube as I can and still look slammed. So when this bike is going to be set up, you can see the spacer. I am going to leave a 5 on top, and I'll have a cap that can sit nice and flush with that, and that'll be the final aesthetic. But if I were to just take this spacer and put the top cap and try to get compression on the headset, it's not going to work, right? You're going to bottom out. So essentially, what I have to do here is I will use like a 10 mil spacer, or really any spacer that's much bigger than what's needed. I'll get the compression of the headset, and then once the stem is tightened down, I'll put my nice sleek, 5 mil spacer with the nice, top cap. Speaking of which, I kind of have two to pick from here. So I have this kind of cool Cane Creek Slam Set top cap. So you can see here, it's going to sit real flush. It actually kind of has a divot in. And then I have this totally baller God and Famous top cap. And I'm not sure which one I'm going to put on, just because I have another bike, a road bike, that I'm going to build after this, and I'm a little torn which one I want to put that God and Famous top cap on, because it's kind of my favorite. But anyway, other things that I'm going to do in this video. So one, that saddle, I've got a different one that matches the colors of the bike better. I want to put that on. This chainring is cool. That's a first generation rotor track chainring. There was a crank spider that had a matching pattern to this ring. Unfortunately, I don't have that, but I'm a little tempted to switch that out and put this chainring on. So I just kind of think aesthetically it might look really, really nice to put on this chainring. Hold on, let me, I don't know, what do you think? I think that could look pretty darn cool. I kind of like the idea of the big solid spider, and then, you know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna go for it, just to switch up the look. That rotor ring I'll kind of just keep in the background. I have a fixie, you can kind of maybe see back there. That's a bike for another day. But anyway, that's what I have planned for this. So finish the assembly, get that top cap, get that saddle, switch out the chain rings. Let's do it. Okay, so step one, I put the front wheel on, put the bike on the ground, compression in the headset, make sure it's nice and straight. After that, I messed with that top cap, and now it was time to change the chainring. So I just pushed the wheel forward in the dropout, put the chain to the inside of the ring, and chainring came off no problem. So I'll show you where I'm at. As you can see, I took the, what did I do? I put the top cap on, I got the headset all squared away, situated. I removed the chainring, pretty cool piece, actually. You know, very light. You can kind of see the backing. I forgot how cool these things are. 49 tooth. The Grand Mighty ring that I have is a 48 tooth. That's fine. I just don't know if I like the aesthetic though. I didn't realize how much of the spider I would see throughout the, you know, through the cutouts on the chainring. And I mean, it doesn't look bad, obviously, but I'm having a little bit of doubt as to whether or not I actually want to put this on. And the reason I'll say that is because originally I got that ring for this fixie. And this fixie fell off my car rack at speed, but you see it has just a regular Sugino 75, but with that black crank. And I really thought that that was going to look really good, and I still kind of think that that will look really good, and it's better than this. So I'm going to probably stare at this for another couple of minutes and kind of come to a decision. I mean, obviously I'm doing this purely for aesthetics, so I can be, you know, picky as much as I want to, but yeah, I think the dinner plate rotor ring is probably going to beat out this chainring on this bike. So decided to go with the rotor ring. Dipping off camera here, just dipped that microfiber in some cleaning solution, and I just cleaned the ring. I also went and cleaned the chainring bolts. I really cleaned the threads out, just made them nice and clean. You don't want any sand or grit in there. When I put the ring back on, I tried to keep it as centered visually as possible. You can kind of see the gaps between the spider and the ring, and I went back and forth a couple times. It doesn't perfectly fit in, but I got it to be as aligned as possible. So as you can see, I ended up keeping the original rotor chainring on there, put it back, cleaned up the bolts. I just tensioned the chain now. This isn't really my street fixie. This is my track bike, kind of a performance thing. So when I set up the chain tension, I set it up with what they call track slack. So at no point does this chain ever tighten up. There's always a nice, even, but slack amount of wiggle in the chain. Now it's nothing crazy, like it won't derail. You know, I can try as much, I can try as much as I want to. It's never going to derail. It's kind of the loosest you can make it without derailing. And the idea is, here, let me spin this. So that chain is super, super dry. You're gonna hear everything. That's just kind of how these, you know, these Izumi Max chains are. But you can hear in the sound that it's nice and even. So you don't hear binding. You know, if there were binding in this drivetrain, you might hear like a ying, 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 ying. So that's absent, and that's gonna give you the best, smoothest pedal stroke. So maybe it won't feel as good at like a traffic light when you're track standing, or if you're skidding, you know, it's probably not the best setup. But for what I'm gonna use this bike for and what the purpose of this bike is, you know, that's how I like to set up my drivetrains, you know, and maybe you want to do the same. Anyway, so all that is left on this bike, I have pedals to put on. I got to change that saddle, and, you know, I'm looking at this bar tape, and the bar tape's kind of old. It's just not looking too fresh, so I might even put some bar tape on. As you can see, as of now, I put on that Cane Creek top cap. And I don't actually like the way it looks. I am going to put on the God and Famous one. I think the rounded profile of the God and Famous top cap will just look better with that 5mm spacer. This top cap will look great on my other bikes where I cut the steer tube flush to the stem. so there's no spacer on top. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do next. Wrapping bars, so important. Nothing tidies up a bike quite like fresh, well-wrapped bar tape. It's the sign of a real, it's not just the sign of a mechanic, it's the sign of the artiste. And it's something I take a little extra time whenever I wrap bars. Doesn't matter what the bike is. I want it to look good because I know people will be judging me the same way I would judge them if they had funky tape. And there's nothing to it but to just do it in practice. Okay, so just finished up wrapping the bars, and I'll kind of give you a close-up of the wrap job, show you how it came out. So here we go. First off, the color. I went with this Giro pink because I had it, and actually I bought this a really long time ago, and it wasn't going to go on any other bike. So I maybe would have gone with a different bar tape, you know, at least color, probably brand as well. But I had this. This is the Super Kaz in Giro pink. And Giro pink kind of has a, I'm trying to get an angle that doesn't have the glare, has like a, you know, it's a little paler than like a regular pink. So it does match pretty closely to, you know, the pink that's in the frame. This wrap job, I'm going to give, you know, I'm a little torn. I was going to give it a 7 out of 10, and I might just bump it up to an 8. You know, I'm pretty picky. I'm my toughest critic when it comes to wrapping these bars, but you know, it is a decent wrap job all the way around, and the tape is pretty nice. That Super Kaz in general. This is their thicker tape, and the thicker tape, it actually wouldn't be too great to wrap a road bike with this tape. I think you would really struggle to get the right length out of the tape. I'll show you the Tijon test. You take the two ends that you cut off. If you don't know what the Tijon test is, I don't blame you, but there you go. So almost identical. The only thing I don't love is just kind of like the finishing here. You know, I'm gonna blame the scissors, but it was finished off okay. Come on, it's a good job. Anyway, all that's left, I couldn't find my saddle. So I had the Giro SLR, Giro. I had the SLR Cellitalia saddle, the Giro edition, and it was black, gray, and pink, so it matched the bike perfectly. I can't find it. I think it's gone. So I'm gonna have to just go with a with like this Specialized saddle that I have. No problem there. I will go over the rest of the bike, make sure everything else is good, and then I'll take it outside. Maybe we can get a little sunlight on it, and do a little bike check, and that's it. And that's it. Okay. And boom, finished product. So I'll do a quick little like bike check style, just so, you know, kind of show it off, and you know, put a fun little ending to the bike. There's a bit of a glare on those bars, but as you can see, they're looking pretty good. So that, sorry, I thought it was gonna fall. So those are the Data 35 bar and stem. So that's oversized. It's not 31/8. It's, or you know, whatever. It's 35. Like I said before, the Super Kaz tape. I have a matching Data 0100 seat post. I kind of wish that was a 0 setback, and then that's a Specialized saddle, toupee, because you pretty much need one to ride one of these. Anyway, Head Ardennes track tubulars. So those are the track tubular wheels. I have some Continental Competition 25s glued on there, not taped. Do a little close up. The hubs are tremendous. I mean, the wheels in general are tremendous. And then in the rear, same hub. That's the Izumi Gold chain. I've got a Dura-Ace 15 tooth cog, Dura-Ace lock ring, and then the rotor crankset, bottom bracket, chain rings, chain ring, crank, Dura Ace pedals, and I did end up going with that Godin. Come on, focus, boom, the Godin Famous. Love it. So there it is. So that total ratio, that is a 49-15. It's actually pretty flat here where I'm living in New Jersey, so I think that's going to be perfect for the roads. And yeah, see you next episode. Thanks for watching, anyone and everyone who watched. Actually pretty proud of myself. This video was actually watchable, if I do say so myself. Anyway, stay tuned, more videos to come, and yeah, I guess if one of you commented, that'd be cool, because you'd be the first one ever. Yeah, see you next time. Look at that. Look at that shitty track stand. I swear I can do it better than that. I was just nervous for the camera. Alright, no more excuses. Bye.